There comes a moment in every life when the heart whispers, is it too late? You look back over the years and wonder, have I wasted too much time? Have I missed too many chances? Have I gone too far to be restored? And in that quiet ache of the soul, God speaks. He says, I am the restorer. I am the one who gives back what was lost. I am the one who makes the end greater than the beginning. When God is about to restore all your wasted years, He does not simply replace what you lost. He multiplies it. He takes the ruins of your yesterday and turns them into the foundation for a greater tomorrow. Many people live as prisoners of their past. They carry the weight of regret like a chain around their hearts. They replay mistakes, failed relationships, missed opportunities, and they whisper to themselves, if only I had known, if only I had done better. But when God decides it is time for restoration, He does not consult your past. He speaks into your present and commands your future. The moment God declares, now is your time, every wasted year becomes raw material in His hands. Material for miracles, for breakthroughs, for beauty. Listen to me carefully, God never wastes anything. Not even your pain, not even your tears, not even your mistakes. What you thought was wasted time was actually preparation time. What you thought was lost ground was sacred ground, being prepared for divine manifestation. God does not restore the same way man restores. Man replaces what is broken, God recreates what is divine. He does not just give back what was stolen. He gives back more than you can imagine. He says, for every tear I will give you joy. For every failure I will give you victory. For every barren year I will make your harvest overflow. Perhaps you have looked at your life and thought, too much has gone wrong. Too many years have passed. But God says, I am not bound by time. I am the creator of time. I can step into the years you wasted and command them to bring forth fruit. When God restores, He redeems time itself. He can make 1 year of favor erase 10 years of loss. He can open one door that compensates for a lifetime of closed ones. He can give you one moment of divine acceleration that launches you further than decades of human effort. I want you to understand this truth deep in your spirit. Restoration is not about recovering the same old things. It is about transformation. When God restores, He makes you into someone new, stronger, wiser, deeper, humbler, more compassionate, more powerful in faith. The same events that once broke you become the very testimony that empowers you. The same wilderness that made you weep becomes the field where you reap. The same storm that tore everything down becomes the wind that lifts your wings. There are people who think restoration means going back to where they were. But God never takes you backward. His restoration always moves forward. You will never return to the old version of yourself. You are stepping into something higher. The wasted years are not a curse. They are a stage for the glory of God to be revealed. The things you thought disqualified you are the very things God will use to qualify you. Do not despise the years that seemed empty. Every silent season carried a lesson. Every delay was divine design. Every disappointment was redirection. You thought you were standing still, but God was building roots beneath your surface. And when the roots grow deep, the fruit will grow abundant. You cannot see it yet, but the years you call wasted were the years God was preparing the soil of your destiny. Some of you are still grieving over what could have been. The dreams that died, the relationships that ended, the chances that slipped away. But God says, do not grieve over what I can still breathe life into. You see, what you call dead, God calls dormant. What you call over, God calls not yet. He can speak to what has been buried and command it to rise again. He can make the dry bones of your past live and breathe with purpose. God is not finished with you. He is about to reveal why you had to go through everything you went through. Think of it, all those sleepless nights, all those tears, all those prayers that seemed unanswered. They were not wasted. God heard every whisper. He counted every tear. He saw you when you thought no one noticed. He saw your faith even when your strength was failing. And he says to you now, I am about to restore all your wasted years. I am about to turn your mourning into dancing. I am about to make the pain of the past a prophecy of power. When God is about to restore you, He will first bring you into remembrance. He will remind you that He was with you in every valley. He will show you that the same God who sustained you in darkness is the same God who will raise you in light. He never left you. You may have felt forgotten, but heaven has been watching your journey all along. Let me tell you this truth. Nothing in your life catches God by surprise. Your failures did not cancel His plans. Your detours did not destroy His purpose. Even your mistakes have been woven into His design for your destiny. God's plan for you is not fragile. It is eternal. When He restores, He does not patch things up. He makes all things new. There is coming a time, and it is near, when the people who once pitied you will witness your transformation. Those who thought your life was over will see you rise with power. They will not understand how everything changed so suddenly, but you will know it was the hand of God. You will not need to explain your comeback. The evidence will speak for itself. Your restoration will be so complete, so radiant, that no one will even recognize the scars of your past. Some of you feel that too much time has been lost. You are older now, opportunities are gone, and you think your best years are behind you. But hear this, with God, your best years are never behind you. They are always ahead. He saves the best for last. You may have spent years sowing in tears, but you will reap in joy. You may have walked through seasons where nothing seemed to grow, but God was teaching you endurance. And now, in His appointed time, He will release a harvest that will make up for every barren year. God's restoration does not follow human logic. He can take the one who was overlooked and make them the cornerstone. He can take the one who was forgotten and set them before kings. He can take the one who failed repeatedly and turn them into a vessel of divine wisdom. He can take what was wasted and make it wondrous. That is who God is, a master of impossible restorations. Do not underestimate what God can do in a single moment of divine intervention. It does not take Him years to change your life. It only takes His word. When He says, let there be, everything shifts. When He says now, doors open, hearts soften, opportunities align, and what was once closed becomes accessible. He is not limited by your circumstances. He is Lord over them. You must refuse to define your future by your past. The years behind you may be filled with loss, but the years ahead are pregnant with promise. Do not speak defeat over your life. Speak faith, speak expectation. Speak the language of restoration. Say, God is restoring me. God is renewing me. God is redeeming my time. My latter years will be greater than my former. Every word you speak in faith becomes a seed that God will water with favor. There will come a time when you will look back at the pain and smile, because you will see how every tear was necessary. You will understand that the heartbreaks made you wiser. The delays made you stronger, and the disappointments made you more dependent on God. You will thank Him not only for the blessings, but also for the battles, because you will realize that without them, you would not have become who you are now. Some of you are standing at the edge of restoration right now. You can feel it. Something is shifting, something is breaking, something is awakening. That restlessness you feel is not frustration, it is transition. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. God is moving you from survival to significance. The season of waiting is turning into a season of winning. The years of confusion are giving birth to clarity. The prayers you thought were ignored are echoing back as answered blessings. When God restores, He restores completely. There is no partial restoration in His kingdom. When He gives back, He gives better. When He heals, He makes whole. When He opens a door, He makes sure no one can close it. What He has written over your life cannot be erased by human hands. It cannot be delayed by human opposition. It cannot be denied by human power. I tell you today, do not be discouraged by what you see right now. The visible is temporary, the invisible is eternal. What looks like loss is often the prelude to restoration. What looks like delay is often the stage being set for divine display. When you feel like nothing is happening, remember, seeds grow in silence. You may not see movement on the surface, but roots are growing deep beneath your feet. God is working behind the scenes, preparing the miracle that will redeem every lost year. You might say, but I wasted my youth. I made foolish decisions. I missed divine opportunities. And God replies, you may have wasted time, but I will make time serve you. I will command the years you lost to deliver blessings you never imagined. God is not intimidated by the years that have passed. He can compress decades of blessing into days of favor. I want you to believe this with every fiber of your being. The story of your life is not over. God is rewriting the chapters you thought were ruined. He is turning your mistakes into messages, your pain into power, your trials into triumphs. You are not disqualified by your past. You are defined by God's purpose. The same power that raised the dawn after the darkest night is working in you right now. There will come a day when you will realize why you had to wait so long. The waiting was building wisdom. The silence was strengthening faith. The delays were aligning timing. You will see that if you had received what you wanted earlier, you would not have been ready for it. But now, after the refining fire, after the crushing and molding, you are prepared for what is coming. God restores when the vessel is ready to hold the blessing. Let me speak to those who feel forgotten. Those who say, everyone else is moving forward while I am still stuck. Listen carefully. You are not behind. You are in training. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. God does not rush destiny. When He restores, it is not a fragile recovery. It is a permanent establishment. He will not just bring you out of the pit. He will seat you in the palace. But before He does, He builds your character to match your calling. Do not measure your life by the calendar. God's timing is not linear. He works in seasons, not seconds. When it is your season, things will align so suddenly that you will barely have time to catch your breath. One day, everything seems ordinary, and the next, the extraordinary unfolds. That is what divine restoration looks like. Sudden, overwhelming, undeniable. Some of you have been asking, when will it happen? When will God restore me? And the answer is simple: when your heart is ready to trust again. Restoration begins not with events, but with surrender. When you stop clinging to what was and open your heart to what can be, you make room for God to move. The moment you let go of regret, you make space for renewal. The moment you stop mourning the past, you invite the future. You see, restoration is not just about what God gives back. It is about what He grows within you. He restores peace where there was anxiety, faith where there was fear, hope where there was despair. He rebuilds not only what you lost outwardly, but also what was broken inwardly. He heals the mind, mends the heart, renews the spirit. That is true restoration. When your soul finds rest in God again, when God is about to restore all your wasted years, He begins to awaken divine memories. He reminds you of promises you had forgotten, dreams you had buried, callings you had abandoned. Suddenly, the same fire that once burned in your spirit begins to reignite. You feel alive again. You find yourself dreaming again. And this time, you dream not from pride or pressure, but But from purpose, you realize that the delay was not denial, it was development. There are seasons when God allows what you built to fall apart so He can rebuild it His way. You thought you lost everything, but in truth, you lost only what was temporary. He stripped away what could not carry you into your destiny. He removed the wrong people, closed the wrong doors, and broke the wrong habits. Because before He restores the years, He restores your alignment. When you align your heart with God, restoration becomes unstoppable. You do not chase blessings, blessings chase you. You do not fight for attention, favor finds you. You do not strive for validation, peace fills you. That is the secret. Surrender brings restoration. When you release control, God releases abundance. I know some of you have cried in secret, wondering why your efforts seemed wasted. But hear me. God saw every act of faith that no one else saw. He watched you stay kind when others were cruel, faithful when others quit, hopeful when everything looked hopeless. Those hidden acts of obedience have been recorded in heaven, and now it is time for their reward. Restoration is not random. It is the harvest of unseen faithfulness. Soon you will realize that nothing you did for good was wasted. Every prayer, every effort, every act of kindness, God was keeping account. The years may have looked barren, but the roots were growing deep. And now the fruit will appear. What took years to build will be established in moments. What you thought was lost will return, multiplied. The wilderness will bloom, and the barren land will sing. God does not simply restore possessions or positions. He restores purpose. You will wake up with new vision, new strength, new confidence. The heaviness that once weighed you down will lift. The confusion that clouded your mind will clear. The same people who once saw you broken will see you radiant with peace. That is the evidence of divine restoration. There will be days ahead when you will say, I do not know how I made it, but I did. You will look at your restored life and know it was not luck, not chance, not coincidence. It was the mercy and might of God. You will understand that every loss was a setup for this comeback. Every delay was a design. Every tear was a seed. The time of restoration is near. God is stirring the waters again. He is speaking to your spirit. Do not give up. I am restoring your years. Walk with your head high. Speak with confidence. Live with expectation. Because when God restores, nothing remains the same. The best is not gone. It is about to begin. When God begins to restore the years that seemed wasted, He does something far greater than simply replacing what you lost. He redeems the very meaning of your story. He does not only give you back time, He gives you back purpose. You begin to see that the wilderness was never meant to destroy you, but to deliver you into greater strength. God allowed the emptiness so you could discover fullness in Him alone. He permitted the silence so your spirit would learn to recognize His whisper. Every season you thought was meaningless was, in fact, a chapter in His masterpiece. Listen carefully. The restoration of God is not a return, it is a revelation. It reveals who you truly are when everything else is stripped away. It reveals what remains when the noise is gone and only faith stands. You thought the battle was about what you lost, but it was never about the loss. It was about what would be born inside you when everything else was gone. When God restores, He restores from the inside out. He strengthens your foundation before He builds your future. There is a holy mystery in how God works. Sometimes He will allow everything you depended on to crumble, not to punish you, but to show you that He alone is the source. When the props fall, His presence stands. When human help fades, divine help rises. That is when you learn to say, even if I have nothing left, I still have God, and He is enough. And it is from that place of surrender that restoration begins. When God restores, He does not just rearrange your circumstances, He renews your spirit. He gives you back the joy you lost when life broke your heart. He gives you back the courage you surrendered when fear overwhelmed you. He gives you back the peace that the world could never provide. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, think differently, because you have encountered the reality that God's plan was never destroyed. It was only delayed until your heart was ready. Some of you have been walking through seasons that felt like endless winter. Everything seemed frozen, lifeless, and cold. You prayed, but nothing seemed to bloom. You waited, but nothing changed. Yet God says, I was not absent in your winter. I was working beneath the surface. Roots grow deepest in cold seasons. Faith grows strongest in the silence. You may not have seen growth above the ground, but beneath it, God was building something permanent. And now, as the divine season shifts, you will see sudden blossoming. What lay dormant will awaken. What was delayed will accelerate. Do not confuse God's timing with human delay. God is never late. When He restores at the appointed time. Not one day early, not one moment late. He has been aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities for your comeback. You may have thought you were forgotten, but in truth, God was saving the best for last. The season of restoration is not random. It arrives when you are spiritually prepared to carry what He is about to release. Hear me clearly. Restoration does not come to the unexpected. It comes to those who dare to believe again. You must rise in faith and declare, God, I may have lost years, but I have not lost you. And if I still have you, I have everything I need. That kind of faith moves heaven. That kind of faith invites divine movement. The moment your spirit aligns with God's promise, the floodgates of restoration begin to open. Sometimes the hardest part of restoration is letting go of what you think it should look like. You imagine it in one way, but God chooses another. You expect certain people to return, certain opportunities to reappear, certain doors to reopen. And when they don't, you think restoration failed. But hear this truth: God will never restore through something He already removed. When He takes something away, it is because He is preparing something greater. You may not recognize it yet, but the new thing He is birthing is far better than what you lost. Do not cling to what God has released. Let go so He can place something divine in your hands. What left you was not meant to stay. What is coming to you has been hand carved by the Creator for your destiny. You are not being replaced. You are being redefined. God's restoration will not look familiar because it is supernatural. When God begins to restore, He restores in layers. First, He restores your faith, because without faith, nothing else can be built. Then He restores your vision, so you can see again, dream again, hope again. Then He restores your voice, so you can declare what He has done. And finally, He restores your influence, so your testimony can strengthen others. Restoration always starts in the unseen before it appears in the seen. Do not despise the process. The same hand that wounds also heals. The same fire that refines also purifies. God will never restore you without first cleansing what corrupted you. That is why some seasons are painful. Not because God has forgotten you, but because He is removing what does not belong. He is cutting away the excess so the blessing can take root. He is pruning your life so you can bear lasting fruit. And when God restores, He restores with abundance. Not just enough to cover what was lost, but enough to overflow. You will not simply recover, you will rise. You will not just regain strength, you will soar. You will not just return to where you were, you will stand where you have never been. This is the signature of divine restoration. It always exceeds expectation. I want you to understand something powerful. The years you call wasted were actually investment years. God was investing in your endurance, your resilience, your humility. He was preparing you for the weight of glory you are about to carry. If he had given you restoration earlier, you might not have been able to hold it. But now, after being refined by struggle and matured by pain, you are ready. You are no longer fragile. You are forged. You may have come to a place where you said, I have nothing left, but that is the very place where restoration begins. God restores not when you are full, but when you are empty. He fills the vessel that is open. He lifts the heart that is surrendered. He breathes life into the ashes. You may think you are finished, but God says, I am just beginning. Look at the pattern of divine restoration. God never brings you out the same way you went in. When you come out richer in faith, wiser in understanding, deeper in love, and stronger in spirit. You may walk with a limp, but you will also walk with authority. You may carry scars, but they will speak of survival and victory. The world will see the glory, but only you will know the story behind it. The nights you cried, the prayers you prayed, the moments you almost gave up. And here lies the greatest truth of all: God will use the very things that hurt you to help you. The same pain that once silenced you will become the reason you speak with power. The same betrayal that once broke you will become the foundation of your wisdom. The same loneliness that once isolated you will become the place where you learn divine intimacy. Nothing is wasted with God. Every experience becomes a tool in His hands. When God restores all your wasted years, He restores them not as they were, but as they should have been. He redeems the missed opportunities by giving you new ones. He restores lost time by accelerating your progress. He restores relationships, not by returning the same people, but by surrounding you with those who nurture your purpose. He restores peace by silencing the inner storms that once ruled your mind. There is a time when you will see the divine pattern unfold and say, now I understand why it had to happen that way. You will realize that every no was a hidden yes. Every closed door was divine protection. Every disappointment was redirection. God's hand was guiding you even when you thought He was silent. The beauty of restoration is not that God erases the past. It is that He transforms it. You will remember what you went through, but it will no longer hurt. The memory will no longer sting. It will become a monument of mercy, a reminder of how far you've come. The pain will turn into wisdom, and the scars will become testimonies. When God restores, He not only blesses you, He makes you a blessing. What He pours into you is meant to overflow to others. Your restored life becomes a light to those still walking in darkness. Your faith becomes a bridge for the broken. Your peace becomes a refuge for the weary. That is the true mark of divine restoration. It does not end with you, it extends through you. Some of you have been asking, why did I have to suffer so long? The answer is this: because what God is about to give you will require deep roots. Shallow roots cannot sustain great restoration. If He is about to build something monumental through you, He must first dig deep within you. The greater the calling, the deeper the preparation. You are not behind. You are being built for something bigger than you can imagine. There will come a time when the winds of life will blow again. But this time, you will not break. You will bend, but you will not fall. Because now you are anchored in God, not circumstances. You have learned that He is your stability in every storm. You have learned that restoration is not a one-time event, but a lifestyle of trust. And when you begin to live in that trust, your presence will carry peace. People will sense that you have walked through fire and come out gold. They will feel the strength that comes from having wrestled with loss and found meaning. You will not need to prove yourself. Your peace will speak louder than your words. Beloved, restoration is coming in waves. God is not restoring one part of your life. He is restoring all. The years of confusion, the The years of struggle, the years of delay, all are being gathered into His plan. The seasons that broke you will now bless you. The doors that closed will lead to better ones. The tears that fell will water new beginnings. Lift your eyes. The horizon is shifting. The light is breaking through. You have cried long enough. Now it is time to rise. You have mourned long enough. Now it is time to build. You have waited long enough. Now it is time to walk forward. God is saying, I have seen your endurance. I have measured your faith, and I will restore you in ways you cannot yet comprehend. Do not fear what lies ahead. The same God who carried you through the valley will crown you on the mountain. The same God who sustained you in darkness will shine through your dawn. He has not brought you this far to abandon you now. He has kept you alive because your purpose is not finished. So stand firm, keep believing, keep walking. The years that seemed wasted are about to speak. The past that seemed painful is about to make sense. The story that looked broken is about to be rewritten by the hand of God. The restoration will not just be visible, it will be undeniable. And when it comes, you will bow your head, tears of gratitude flowing freely, and say, every delay was worth it. Every battle had meaning. Every loss carried purpose. Because you will see that God never forgot you. He was preparing you. You were not being punished, you were being positioned. And now, the time has come for divine restoration. You will rise from the ashes, not as the person you were, but as the person God intended you to become, stronger, wiser, radiant, with peace, filled with purpose. And all who see you will know it was not luck, it was not chance, it was the power of God restoring all that was lost and multiplying it beyond imagination. And now, as you stand in this sacred moment between what was and what will be, lift your heart toward God. Look back over the years that seemed wasted, the ones that broke you, the ones that drained your hope, the ones that left you empty, and see them differently. Those were not wasted years, they were woven years. Every tear, every silence, every unanswered question was a thread in the divine fabric of your destiny. You did not lose those years. God has been holding them, redeeming them, preparing to return them to you in a way you could never have imagined. So do not walk out of this place the same way you came. Let your spirit awaken to the truth that you are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not too late. God is still writing your story. The breath in your lungs is proof that His purpose in you is not finished. The same God who created you has preserved you, sustained you, and is now calling you to rise into the fullness of who you were meant to be. Do not let the shadow of regret linger over your heart any longer. Regret looks backward, but faith looks upward. Regret mourns what was lost, but faith celebrates what is coming. Regret ties you to the pain of yesterday, but faith lifts you into the promise of today. You cannot walk into restoration while holding hands with regret. Let it go, release the past. Leave it in the hands of God and walk forward in faith. This is the hour to renew your heart, to return to the one who never turned away from you. You may have stumbled, but you never fell out of His reach. You may have wandered, but you were never beyond His sight. You may have lost time, but you have not lost His mercy. God's mercy does not expire. His compassion does not diminish. His faithfulness does not fail. The same God who saw you at your lowest is the one who will lift you to your highest. Lift your face to heaven and whisper from the depths of your soul, God, I am ready. I am ready to be restored, ready to be renewed, ready to walk again in your purpose. And in that simple surrender, everything begins to shift. The winds of restoration start to move. The heaviness begins to lift. The chains of the past begin to break. Because when the heart opens to God, nothing can stay the same. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Do not wait for another sign. This is the moment of decision to trust again. to believe again, to hope again. The years ahead are waiting to be filled with faith, courage, and vision. You are not the same person who entered your storm. You are stronger now. You are wiser now. You are ready now. And God is ready too. When you walk out from here, walk as one who knows that heaven is on your side. Walk with a quiet confidence that every step you take is guided. Walk with peace that no loss was final and no mistake was fatal. Walk with faith that even the unseen is working for your good. And as you move forward, let gratitude fill your heart, not just for what you have, but for what God is still unfolding. Let this truth echo in your spirit. Nothing is wasted in the hands of God. Every moment that broke you was preparing you. Every silence that tested you was teaching you. Every delay that frustrated you was shaping you. And now, the same God who watched you endure will watch you rise. So rise in faith, rise in courage, rise in purpose, rise and become a living testimony that no time is truly lost when God holds your life. Rise and show the world that restoration is real, that peace is possible, that God's power is greater than any pain. Let your life become a living altar where gratitude burns brighter than sorrow and hope sings louder than fear. And when you lift your hands, not in desperation, but in surrender, know that God receives you fully. Know that He sees not your failures, but your faith. Know that He delights not in your perfection, but in your willingness to trust. For it is not strength that moves God, it is surrender. And in that surrender, the story of your restoration begins its final chapter, one filled with light, peace, and divine promise. Go then and live with expectation. Walk in reverence. Speak with faith. Love with compassion. And every day, remind yourself, God has restored me, God is with me, and God is enough. Let your restored life shine so bright that others who are still walking through their own wastelands will see your peace and know God is still faithful, God is still powerful, and God still restores. And may this truth never leave your heart. The years are not lost. They are waiting in the hands of the Almighty, ready to be returned to you, pressed down, multiplied and overflowing. Because when God restores, He restores completely. And when He renews forever.